Good morning. It is a very good Friday. Hope you all are doing well. Happy Good Friday to those religious people who are celebrating the holiday weekend. Easter on Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Welcome. I'm going to go over brand new relaunching of my daily show that I did back in July of 2020. Decided there's enough content, enough interest. And man, my life is so busy that daily is probably the best way to get content out. So those of you who are in the content world know that daily live content, well, the world needs more of it. A little out of practice. I do have an agenda, guys. We're going to go over some basic hobby news today. I'm going to hit you with what's going on around the hobby. Going to give you some comments. I'm going to share with you the two best videos I saw yesterday. I'm going to do this every day, kind of share with you what I thought was great and why I'm bringing it to your attention. We'll talk a little bit about current events. At the end of this, the current event I'll talk about is the relaunching this channel and where we're going to be going with this channel and the daily content. But let's start off with just kind of sharing what's going on around the hobby and the kind of news that's happening. So first of all, let's start with releases. Again, it's been a while since I've done this. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I see a few people coming in. How do I share my screen again? Present. Share screen. Entire screen. That's the best way I know to do it. Okay, let's start with what's going on today. So a few things. I'm going to go over releases, but let me bring your attention to Panini does have on their Dutch auction, which is my least favorite way to buy something, but I thought this is interesting. Panini Eminence trading cards. Now, what's interesting to me is this is starting at $20,000. And the reason I say that is this used to be, I want to say $25,000. I think was the entry price. I don't think there was a Dutch auction. The fact that this will have, and maybe I'm wrong, is this not Dutch or not? Might be wrong on this. Maybe that is the price. But again, the fact that this is coming at 20,000 is kind of surprising to me. We will see how well this is received. I'm going to be watching this. This will definitely sell out. This is a great breaking product. I'm a big fan, by the way, of Eminence. The only way I get an Eminence is in a break. I do not recommend breaks, by the way, real quickly. As I'm kind of getting back into things, I'm not going to recommend you go out and getting breaks today. But I did want to put this on your map, put this on your things to look for. Other things going on in the Panini store today. This is still out there, which I find interesting. You got the Lamar Jackson Funko Pop. These are the gold ones, which doesn't mean they're numbered to 10, just means they're more limited. It's still out there. The Herbert is out there as well. Now, the other guys, the regular silver prism ones that I guess are mass produced, are selling around the same price, probably between 20, 25 bucks. So $30 for gold is kind of interesting. I'm surprised these haven't been doing better, but I do think this has been a complete miss. I mean, I don't think the Funko community is in this. I don't think the sports card community is in this. I really think this has been a fail. Another one, just real quickly while I'm talking about it, this is still on the website. This blows my mind. I'm actually surprised this is still out there. Okay, let's move on to other releases coming up. Today is Friday, so you got the following releases coming in here. Panini Prism WWE, the Eminence we just went over, Onyx Vintage Collection Baseball, and Leaf Vivid Soccer. Now, I'll be honest, normally I just focused on licensed products on release days, but since Topps is changing the game, we might have to start paying attention to more unlicensed stuff in the future. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the news that broke yesterday about Panini. I'm not going to regurgitate this. You can go Sports Collectors Daily and read about this, Panini resignations, the shakeup going over there. Rumors also, Topps came out and said they're going to have basketball in 23-24, although there's no clarity on the licensing. One thing I will say after listening to everybody talk about this the other day is that how does this impact the collector? And in my opinion, this is not good for the collector, because what you're going to happen, let's be honest, Panini could go ahead and print, basketball license. Topps could actually get the players to support it, and they could go ahead and create license or unlicensed. Doesn't make a difference. But here's what I'm really realizing as a collector: everybody's going after that Uma Bagaga dude, right? They're all going to go after him because he's the rookie. He's kind of like Zion was a few years ago. So every company, Wildcard, Leaf, heck, Upper Deck should start making basketball cards next year. I mean, why not? I just think that's going to flood the market. And I think, again, it's so funny. I really feel like we really are repeating what we did in history. Like, we're going to drive people away from sports cards with all the overprinting. I think that's what happened in the 1990s is that we overprinted and it drove people away. I feel the same thing happening now. I really do. Like, I don't know why you'd come into this. Like, if you're a hobby person, like, oh, this is going to be cool. I can go get this or I can go get that, or basketball chromes me back. But that's us geeks. who are in the hobby. How is this going to attract new people? If I'm a new person coming in, I'm more confused than ever. If I want to come in and get a basketball card and Topps has got unlicensed and Leaf has got unlicensed and Panini still got the license, but they only have it for a short period of time. I mean, this chaos is why I think we're going to see more card correction in the future. Okay, so what else did I want to cover? I had my notes here. A bunch of other good stuff here on Sports Cards Daily. I do like their website. They always have some great articles on here. Another great daily website that I love using is Slab Stocks. Nate does daily content on, and I'll mention that later. He talked about something yesterday. I think he was talking about this Panini and the Panini losing all their people. The other thing I thought about that, Panini losing all their people makes me also think to myself that Panini's not selling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think Panini has any interest in selling. They basically told Topps, we're not selling. And Topps is doing everything they can now because they know they're not going to get that license, which I think is an interesting thing. Okay, 2 videos I saw yesterday I want to bring your attention to. First one, big fan of Clemente Collector. Really like this one because he had a new guy on the channel returning to collecting. I do recommend to subscribe to both these channels. I love this conversation. I really enjoyed what they were talking about. I think I tried to pause it around here. Actually, never mind. I don't have my sound hooked up. I need to get everything set up running these daily shows. But anyway, in this video, Darren talks about how he's gotten into YouTube and he created his YouTube channel. He talks about how he got into it too, which I really enjoyed that story. But here's my favorite part. He's talking to a guy he meets at a party, and the guy apparently runs a finance YouTube channel. And he talks to the guys, hey, so how many subscribers do you have? He goes, about 250,000. And Darren's like, 250,000? Wow. That's really good, man. The guy goes, well, how many do you have? And Darren goes, I have about 50. And the guy's 50,000. He goes, no, I have about 50. And the guy's like, oh, good luck with the YouTube. I just thought that was interesting. My question to Darren would have been, for the guy with 250,000 is, how much money is he making? Is that his full-time job? He has 250,000 subscribers. I don't know. That kind of was surprising. Really enjoyed the conversation. The other great video I watched yesterday that I really, really liked. And I tell you what, guys, more people should listen to this video. This was Mojo Breaks and Layton Sports Cards. Rich talking about the hobby. 2 things I want you to take away from this. Number 1, Rich Layton talks at the end that he's working with SGC and Topps to do they're doing an early break. I think it's on April 25th, Bowman Baseball. They're going to break it live at SGC's facility, I believe, and be able to do live grading or grading instantly. I just thought that's a really cool collaboration. I'm not a fan of Rich Layton. I'm not a fan of SGC, and I am a fan of Bowman Baseball. But putting those 3 things together, I thought it's really cool for the hobby. I thought more people should hear about it. I also think it's interesting that none of the SGC sponsored YouTube channels have mentioned that at all, right? It's like if they didn't get it told about it, they're not going to mention it. The other thing that I loved about this video was just listen and talk about the evolution of breaking, how breaking started. For example, Mojo Breaks, and I didn't know the evolution. I didn't know who started breaking first, but Mojo Breaks was before Layton. Layton even says that they reached out to Mojo, and Mojo gave them some tips and so that they were cooperative or competitively cooperative in the beginning. The things they left out on this that I wish they talked about is how that market kind of evolved, right? It self-policed itself. There were lots of breakers in the beginning, and then it got down to probably a handful, maybe 20 or 30 well-known breakers in the breaker community, probably 6 that probably managed a lot of the big stuff in breaking. So I'd love to hear them talk about that. And I'd love to hear a modern conversation. Like I wish someone had spoken to these guys and asked them questions about, what do you think about breaking today? And how are things going to change, right? Like there's so many questions I go here. In my opinion, before 2020, you couldn't get into breaking because these guys controlled so much of the allocation. 2020 came to roll around. You had so many new people. Allocations were different. You had first off the line, you had retail products, you had leaks of the supply chain, and that created a lot of these new breakers. I mean, backyard breaks came to be. My understanding, they had to either buy their allocation or break into the allocation. They didn't have that grandfathered in. And that's changed. That was a major change to this hobby. Now, what it's also meant is it's a very unregulated Wild West. We have a lot of people who think they can be backyard breaks, running breaks out of their kitchen and swiping cards. We'll talk about it later in another video. But I can't stress how important I thought this conversation was. It didn't get a lot of views yet, and I do really mean you should go back, listen to this, so you'll get an understanding of breaking, the people who are in breaking. They talk about fire hands. They talk about this guy, Chris. They talk about, for example, I remember watching the video, the guy who pulls the gold Mike Trout in Bowman. He's one of the first breakers. They talk about the fact, here's another great point about this. Some of the first breakers would actually have a team, and they were doing breaks basically to self-feed themselves, right? So they'd sell the teams to pay for the cover of the box, and they'd keep one team for themselves, right? So like I said, breaking originally was not a profit center. It wasn't to rate the hobby. It was meant to bring people together. And these guys would talk about, they didn't start making money till like 2017, 18, 19, and really 20 is when I think they probably made a lot of money because they had allocations when these markets went up. So anyway, I'm going too long on this, but I will come back and talk more about this. There'll be a longer video in the future on my channel talking about breaking, the history of breaking. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to talk about what we can do to fix it. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'm going to go into more of a conversation piece here. Show Locator, big fan of this Instagram channel, has all the best show information. I know there's a lot of guys out there who have show information, who list all the sports card shows going on, but I found that Show Locator is the best one for me. You can find out what's going on. So if you're looking for a show this weekend, go here, check it out. I'm not going to these shows in my area. Like I said, it's Easter weekend, got a lot of family stuff going on with kids and whatnot. So super, super excited about that. Let me go ahead and stop the share and go back to in person. All right, so that's kind of a taste. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you being your Bart's cards. I see Grunt Dad sports card. Man, Grunt Dad, I want to include your gem rate information. I should say gem rate. Your pop count information in my weekly show. I really love what you do, and I think more people need to get an eye on that. Sent Domino, great to see you, man. Thanks for being here. So, guys, here's my thought. I decided I've been listening to a lot. I listen to a lot of content. I try to put the videos together, and I've been falling behind. I got so many things going on in my life right now, which is great. So I thought I'm going to go ahead and relaunch my daily channel, and that's what I am doing today. This is the first day. My goal with this daily channel is to put out content every day. Within the 24-hour day, I will have content out. What I mean by that is I'm not going to do it every morning. It might be in the afternoon. It might be in the evening. But every day, I'm going to go live, and I'm going to give you a quick update on what's going on in the hobby and give you my perspective and talk about a few channels or what's good, bad, ugly, whatever's going on in the hobby. So that's going to be something I'm going to do every freaking day, not just on weekdays. I'm going to do it on weekends, and it'll be in the 24-hour cycle. I think this will give me a great way to, help build the hobby. And I'll also do this real quickly, unsponsored. It's going to be raw, unsponsored every day. Raw, it's me, my opinion. No sponsors. I'm not going to be sponsored by some website, some gambling website, or by, a grading company so that I give you some unbiased opinion. I'm going to give you my opinion because you'll never be sponsors on this daily content. What else do I want to do with the daily content? I'd love to do a little bit more fun. So I will say, as we break it out over the week, I might have like Funny Monday, where I get some kind of funny videos that are coming out I've seen in YouTube. Maybe do Cringy Friday, right? Like some of the worst YouTube content, but will be different themes as we go through this. I'm also looking for feedback from you guys in the community. What would you like to see? What would get your interest, make you like, comment, subscribe? Another thing I'm going to do too, which I'm not a big fan of, but I think I'm going to go ahead and launch some contests. In fact, one of the ideas I thought about, and it's Good Friday right now, is maybe every Friday I'll open up something, a pack, a box, I don't know, and give something away to the community, whoever's watching. So look for that as well. And then on my main channel, I will do more detailed, in-depth, longer videos as well. But that's kind of the plan as we move forward. Oh, we got some questions. Any questions, comments? I'll be working towards a national giveaway soon, and you'll shout out occasionally. I'll be happy to do that. And Steve, I'll be happy to help sponsor that, man. Anybody watching, guys, huge fan of what Steve has done for the last few years. I mean, it does. I'm with Steve. I don't know why these other channels don't do that. In fact, Steve, I'm sure this year somebody will, and everybody make a big deal like, oh, did you see Jeff's going to send somebody to national? I'll be like, shit, Steve's been doing it for 3 years. But yes, Steve sends somebody to national, and that is great. And I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. So yes, we'll use this channel to announce whatever people are doing, to promote the hobby. I got to update my logo here. I see my logo in the corner here says weekdays. It's going to be every day. Grunt Dad, add my channel to your tracker. Absolutely. I will say, we'll get Grunt Dad on one time. It's so funny. I will tell you, Grunt Dad, I used to track channels way back in 2020 as well. I'll look and see if I can find some of those videos. You do a much better job, and that's why I love what you do. But I know a lot of people look at that. Maybe we'll do kind of maybe we'll track that ourselves. Maybe we'll have Grunt Dad come in and talk about most active channels, maybe channels that are doing contests. Maybe we can talk about that so people can go out and follow some of these channels doing contests. And we could talk about legit contests and contests that are not legit. Good luck, man. Good luck. I appreciate that, Philly. I mean, I tell you, I had a lot of people who said they like the morning content. I can't promise morning. I'll tell you guys, I'll leak another secret to you. I've got a kid on the way. Yeah, any day now. I'm expecting a baby boy. I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too personal, share too much information, but I got a kid coming on the way. And that's kind of also what wanted me to go back to this, my personal life. There's another reason for this, but daily content, kid on the way. So when that kid comes, that might be the day that I go more than 24 hours. But I do think even then I'll get a short out or get something out to everybody. Yes, Grunt Dad will add you, and he's adding more channels. And like I said, Grunt Dad, if you were ever available, I'd love to do a collaboration. Love to have you on. In fact, we'll have people on in the morning. I'm happy to promote other channels in the afternoons, evenings. We're going to have daily content. We're going back to daily because it needs to be raw. It needs to be unsponsored, and it needs to just have a little bit of spin. Thanks, man. Thanks, Steve. I know that is a big wow, right? Because, dude, I'm no young spring chicken. Thank you, man. I'm super excited. Super freaking excited. You know, I'm just not going to go personal there. Let's other things I want to talk about. Oh, well, I'll do a little more later on. I'm going to leave it right now. I got to get ready for a work call. So just want to do a quick introduction. Again, have a wonderful, wonderful Good Friday. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you tomorrow. We'll be live. Don't know when yet, but we'll be live. I'll have more ready for you tomorrow too. I'm just wanted to get it going. Thanks, guys.